stop whatever you're doing right now, Lakers fans, because the message that landed on my phone tonight is the kind of thing I usually wait 24 hours to talk about just to make sure I'm not getting played. But this one I checked, and then I checked again, and then I sat in my chair for 10 full minutes just staring at the wall, because if this is real and everything is pointing to it being real, then the entire identity of this Lakers team is about to change forever. I'm not gonna bury the lead and make you sit through 5 minutes of nothing. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I was told, exactly who told it to me, and exactly why Shams Charania went on ESPN tonight and did something he almost never does. He didn't say, sources say. He didn't say, there's mutual interest. He looked into the camera and he put his entire reputation on the line, and he said the words that Lakers fans have been begging to hear for 2 straight years. Rudy Gobert is coming to Los Angeles. Now stay with me all the way to the end of this video, because the part that nobody is talking about, the part about what the Lakers are actually giving up to make this happen, is the part that's going to blow your mind, and I'm saving it for last for a reason. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content, every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. Let me set the table first, because you have to understand the moment this is happening in. This Lakers season ended the way every Lakers fan was terrified it would end. They got past the Houston Rockets in the first round, and for about a week, the city of Los Angeles let itself believe again. And then they ran straight into the Oklahoma City Thunder in the second round, and it was over before it even started. Down 0-3, swept out of the building. And the cruelest part of the whole thing, Luka Doncic, the man this franchise mortgaged its future to acquire, the man they traded Anthony Davis for, barely got to fight, hobbled and limited, while Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the back-to-back MVP machine in OKC ran the Lakers off their own floor. And when the final buzzer went, everybody in that arena and everybody watching at home knew the exact same thing. This roster, as constructed, cannot win a championship. The ceiling is real. Luka and LeBron give you a ceiling that almost no team on earth can match. But the floor, the interior, the rim, the paint, the place where championships are actually decided in May and June, that floor has been cracked for 2 years, and everybody in that front office knows it. Because here's the truth that I want every single one of you to sit with for a second. Since the day Anthony Davis walked out the door in that Luka trade, the Lakers have not had a real center. They have not had a rim protector. They have not had an interior anchor. They tried. DeAndre Ayton was supposed to be the answer, and in the regular season he gave you 60% shooting and a few nice nights. And then the playoffs came and he shrank, shooting under 40% against OKC and disappearing in exactly the moments the Lakers needed him most. Jackson Hayes had a couple of good games, gave you energy, gave you lobs, but Jackson Hayes is not anchoring a championship defense. And you know it, and I know it, and Rob Pelinka knows it most of all. They voided the Mark Williams deal, they flirted with Nick Claxton, they have been searching openly and desperately for one specific thing, a true defensive center who can protect the rim, finish the lob, and let Luka and Austin Reeves hunt on the perimeter without worrying about who's behind them. And tonight, according to Shams Charania, and according to what landed on my phone, they found him. And not just any him, they found the best defensive center of his entire generation. So let me tell you how I got this, because I know that's what you're really here for, and I'm not going to insult you by pretending I have some magical crystal ball. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get an agent whispering in my ear. What I got late tonight was information, a forwarded message, a screenshot of a conversation passed to me from someone who is close enough to this situation that the second I read it, my stomach dropped. And the reason my stomach dropped is that it matched, word for word, the framing that Shams used on air maybe an hour later. Same structure, same urgency. The Timberwolves, after losing to San Antonio, after watching their season die in the second round again, have made a decision about their future, and that future, according to everything I'm seeing, does not include a 34-year-old center making $35 million a year. It includes Anthony Edwards, it includes Jaden McDaniels, it includes their young French big man Joan Berenger, who they are absolutely in love with, and it does not include Rudy Gobert. Minnesota is ready to move on, and the team at the very front of the line, the team that needs exactly what Gobert provides more than any contender in basketball, is your Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I want you to really understand why this fits, because there are going to be people in the comments, there are always people in the comments, who say Gobert is washed, Gobert is old, Gobert can't switch, Gobert gets played off the floor in the playoffs. And I'm going to address every single one of those arguments before this video is over, so don't you dare click away. But first, let me give you the numbers, because the numbers do not lie. This past season, in his 13th year in the league, Rudy Gobert averaged 11 points, 11.5 rebounds, and a block and a half a night, while shooting 68% from the field. 68%. And here's the one that matters most, the one I need every Lakers fan to tattoo on their brain. This year, Rudy Gobert was named to the All-NBA Defensive First Team for the 8th time in his career. The 8th time. This is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. This is not a name. This is not nostalgia. This is the single most decorated interior defender of the last decade, and he is being made available, and the Lakers are circling, and Shams Charania just told the world it's happening. Picture it for a second. Picture this lineup. You put Luka Doncic at the point, running the show, throwing those lazy perfect lob passes he's been throwing his whole career. You put Austin Reeves next to him, assuming the Lakers get the Reeves free agency situation handled, which is its own enormous story I'll come back to. You've got Rui Hachimura stretching the floor. You've got LeBron James, if he comes back, and that's a big if, and we are getting to that, bending the defense. And then you put Rudy Gobert in the dunker's spot in the paint as the last line of defense, as the man who turns every Luka drive and kick into a lob threat and turns every opponent drive into a nightmare. The Lakers have not had rim protection like that since prime Anthony Davis. They have not had a vertical lob threat like that maybe ever in the modern era. This is the missing piece. This is, on paper, the difference between a second round exit and a deep, terrifying playoff run. And that's exactly why Shams was willing to stake his name on it. But I told you I'd hit the doubts, and I'm a man of my word, so let's do it. Argument number 1. Gobert is too old. He's about to turn 34, to which I say, go look at who else is on this roster. LeBron James is 41 years old and still playing at an All-NBA level. The Lakers are not a young rebuilding team waiting on a 5-year plan. The Lakers are in win now mode right now, today, because the LeBron window is closing by the hour and the Luka window is wide open. A 34-year-old elite defensive center is not a long-term problem for this team. It's a perfect short-term solution. Argument number 2, Gobert gets exposed in the playoffs when teams go small. And look, there's some history there. I'm not going to lie to you. But you know what fixes that? Surrounding him with elite offensive talent so that the other team can't just hide him on offense, and pairing him with switchable wings. The Lakers, with Luka and LeBron generating offense, can afford to let Gobert do the one thing he does better than almost anyone alive: protect the rim without asking him to be something he's not. Minnesota asked him to anchor everything. Los Angeles would just ask him to be the cherry on top. And let me tell you exactly why this matters so much. Because you cannot evaluate this move in a vacuum. You have to look at who the Lakers actually have to beat to get to the top of the Western Conference. And once you do, the whole thing snaps into focus. Look at who's standing in the way. Oklahoma City, the team that just swept you, built around the back-to-back MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a relentless attacking downhill machine. San Antonio marching to the Western Conference Finals behind one of the most terrifying young big men the league has ever seen. Minnesota itself with Anthony Edwards. These are the gauntlets. These are the monsters the Lakers have to slay. And what is the one thing every single one of those teams does to you? They attack the rim, they get downhill, they get to the paint, and they finish over the top of you because you have no one back there to stop them. That was the entire story of the OKC series. Lakers defenders getting beaten off the dribble, and there being absolutely nobody waiting at the basket to make them pay. Now imagine running that exact same series back, except this time, when SGA turns the corner and gets into the lane, he runs face first into a 7'1", 4-time Defensive Player of the Year with a 7'9" wingspan. That changes the geometry of the entire Western Conference. That doesn't just make the Lakers better, that specifically neutralizes the exact weapon that every contender in the West has been using to beat them. This isn't adding a nice player, this is plugging the precise hole that every elite team in your conference has been pouring through. And here's the part of the story that I think is the most important, and it's the part connected to the biggest decision this franchise has hanging over its head: LeBron James. Because as we sit here right now, LeBron is an unrestricted free agent, 41 years old. He has said multiple times this season that he doesn't know if he wants a 24th year, and there are real, credible reports that the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors would both be options if he decides he wants to chase one more ring somewhere else. So the Lakers are sitting there with the most important offseason in a decade, and they cannot fully build their roster until LeBron tells them what he's doing. So think about the timing of a Gobert move. Think about what it signals. If the Lakers go out and trade for Rudy Gobert, they are sending the loudest possible message to LeBron James. We are building a winner around Luka. We are fixing the one thing that's been killing us, and we want you to stay and finish this. A Gobert to trade isn't just a basketball move, it's a recruiting pitch. It's the front office looking LeBron dead in the eye and saying, we're serious, are you in or are you out? Now I want to talk about Luka for 1 second, because everything runs through him now. Luka Doncic is locked into a 3-year, $165 million extension. He is the centerpiece. He is untouchable. This is his team now, and it will be his team for years. And the single greatest gift you can give a Luka Doncic is a lob-finishing, rim-running, pick-and-roll center who can catch anything in the same zip code and dunk it. Go back and watch what Luka did with a real roll man earlier in his career. The pick-and-roll between Luka Doncic and Rudy Gobert would be one of the most unguardable actions in the entire NBA overnight. You either help off the roller and Luka picks you apart with passes to shooters, or you stay home and Luka cooks you one-on-one. There is no good answer. That's why this fits. That's why the Lakers want it. That's why Shams went on air and said it's real. So let me get to the question I know is burning a hole in every single one of you right now. Stephen A. Smith has been screaming about this all season. The whole league has been waiting to see if Minnesota would blink. And the answer, according to tonight, is yes. But the question isn't whether the Lakers want Gobert. Of course they want Gobert. The question is what it costs, and this is the part I told you I was saving for the end. So if you've made it this far, this is your reward, and I need you to really listen, because here's the brutal reality of the Lakers situation. They are a tax team. They are flirting with the second apron, which limits how they can build, which limits what tools they have. They do not have unlimited assets. So to bring in a salary like Gobert's, the math has to work, and that means the Lakers are gonna have to send out real money and real assets. We're talking about a package likely built around a player like DeAndre Ayton's contract, or a salary that matches, plus pieces like Jared Vanderbilt, plus, and this is the part that's going to hurt, draft capital, future first-round picks. The Lakers have already spent so much of their future on Luka and on past moves, and to get a player of Gobert's caliber, they may have to dig even deeper into the picks they have left. And here's the thing that nobody wants to say out loud. If this trade happens, it is an all-in, no turning back, championship or bust move. There is no soft landing. You trade for a 34-year-old center and ship out picks. You are telling the entire world that the time is now, that the LeBron and Luka window must be cashed in immediately, and that anything less than deep playoff success next year is a catastrophic failure. That's the bet. That's what Pelinka would be signing up for. That's the weight of this decision, and there's one more wrinkle, one more thing I need you to sit with, because it ties everything together. Austin Reeves is heading toward free agency, and his situation is enormous for this franchise. The Lakers have to figure out the Reeves money, they have to figure out the LeBron decision, and they have to figure out how to fit a Gobert-sized salary onto the books all at the same time. These are not three separate decisions. They are one giant interconnected puzzle, and the front office has to solve all of it in the same summer. So when you hear Shams Charania say Gobert is coming to Los Angeles, understand what that actually implies. It implies the Lakers have a plan for Reeves. It implies they have a read on LeBron. It implies they've looked at the cap, looked at the aprons, looked at the picks, and decided that the best way to win a championship around Luka Doncic is to go get the best defensive center of his generation. Consequences be damned. That is not a small thing. That is a franchise-defining, era-defining swing. So let me bring it all home. For 2 years, Lakers fans, you have watched this team have everything except the one thing that wins in the playoffs. You've had the stars, you've had the shot making, you've had the moments, but every single time it mattered, every single time the lights got brightest, the same problem killed you. No interior, no rim protection, no anchor, no answer for the bigs and the drivers who carved you up in the paint. And now, on a random night in late May, with the Lakers season already in the rearview mirror and the Knicks marching to the finals on the other side of the country, the most plugged-in reporter in the entire sport went on ESPN and told you the answer is on its way. Rudy Gobert, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time All-Defensive First Team, the exact player this roster has been screaming for since the day Anthony Davis left. Coming to Los Angeles to chase a title with Luka Doncic. Now I've given you everything I have tonight. I've given you what landed on my phone. I've given you what Shams said and why he was willing to put his name on it. I've given you the fit, the cost, the LeBron connection, and the stakes. The only thing left is for you to tell me what you think. Do the Lakers pull the trigger? Is a 34-year-old Gobert the missing piece, or the move that ages badly in 2 years? And most importantly, does this convince LeBron to run it back one more time? Drop it in the comments because I read every single one, and the second I hear anything else, the second this thing takes its next step, you know exactly where I'm going to be, right here, telling you first. So if you're not subscribed yet, fix that right now, because the next few weeks in Los Angeles are going to be the most important this franchise has had in a very long time, and you do not want to miss what comes next.